Hello, my name is Nadia Qureshi, and this is my semester-long project presentation for Learning and Cognition. For my project, I chose to try and observe the relationship between exercise and cognitive measures of executive functioning. In this presentation, I will go over current peer-reviewed research, my application of this research, my outcomes, and some reflection questions. First, we will take a quick look at current findings by peer-reviewed literature. Aerobic exercise, or exercise that is often repetitive and involves large muscle groups, has been shown to improve attention and episodic memory. Meanwhile, resistance exercise, which is defined as exercise involving weights or other forms of resistance and which targets more specific muscle groups, has been shown to benefit executive functioning, including selective attention and concentration, as well as memory recall. Studies have found that chronic exercise, or exercise over long periods of time, specifically improves short-term and working memory. Meanwhile, acute exercise, or exercise performed in short durations, has been shown to improve both short-term and long-term memory. Finally, peer-reviewed research has shown that exercise can enhance mood and reduce negative limitations on cognition such as fatigue and confusion. This is especially true when instances of exercise last for at least 30 minutes. Next, we will discuss my application of these findings and my methods of collecting data. To test whether I would observe cognitive benefits from exercise, I created a routine involving both aerobic and resistance exercises, or activities that would mix the two, such as farm work. I chose to collect data on 4 variables for every day over the course of 6 weeks, where I followed this routine. These 4 variables were concentration, productivity, happiness, and motivation. Each day, I would rate each of these variables on a scale of 1 to 10. This numerical data would later be analyzed for any benefits that I may have observed through the implementation of my project. Shown here is an example of one of the weeks in which I collected this data. After collecting my data, I conducted an analysis of these 4 variables and how they changed over the duration of my project implementation. As a way of observing the potential benefits of chronic exercise, I analyzed the longitudinal trends of each variable. Here I'll mention that my initial data was skewed by the values I collected on week 3 of my implementation. In week 3, I was injured in an accident unrelated to my project. This resulted in an inability to follow my routine, and during week 3, I saw a noticeable decrease in all 4 variables. Week 3 saw the lowest average values of each variable out of all of the weeks during which data was collected. The chart on the left includes the data from week 3, while the chart on the right does not. Without the data collected on week 3, the positive correlations between the duration of my exercise routine and the average scores of each variable are notably stronger, with scores of happiness, productivity, and concentration all increasing at correlative strengths over 0.7. It is important to note here that this data has not been analyzed for significance. Additionally to analyzing the longitudinal effects of my exercise routine, I also chose to compare the average scores of my 4 variables between exercise types. As you can see, resistance exercise actually produced the highest average scores of all 4 of my variables. Finally, we will go over some reflection questions. Firstly, a majority of my experience over the course of this project can be explained by peer-reviewed literature. I noticed that as I engaged in my exercise routine, I felt improvements in mood, concentration, and productivity, all of which have been found to be positively affected by different modes and durations of exercise. The only way in which my experience deviates from other studies is that I found resistance exercise to be more beneficial than any other mode of exercise. While resistance exercise has been found to be effective at improving memory and other aspects of executive functioning, other studies that compare aerobic and resistance exercise have found resistance exercise to be less beneficial than aerobic exercise, such as in the study by Dunsky et al. My best explanation for this is that the mode of exercise that is most effective may depend on an individual's personal preferences or cognitive needs. My outcomes were overall consistent with my predictions, except for my observations on motivation. I had predicted that I would see an increase in motivation as time went on, but motivation actually ended up having the lowest correlation, with the time spent using this exercise routine, at an R2 score of 0.053 in the sample set without week 3's findings. Thank you for watching.